Windbreaker Season 2, animated by Cloverworks and based on Satoru Ni's manga, continues to carve its niche in the spring 2025 anime season as a delinquent shonen that prioritizes emotional depth over mere brawls. Episode 4, titled Rely On, Being Relied On, sits within the aftermath of the intense Keel arc, shifting focus from high-octane action to introspective character exploration. This episode centers on Haruka Sakura's struggle to reconcile his newfound friendships with his lifelong solitude, a premise that promises to deepen the series' emotional core. I was immediately hooked by the quieter, reflective tone, a bold pivot after the frenetic Keel battles that left me both moved and hopeful for Sakura's journey. While not flawless, Episode 4's poignant character work and technical finesse make it a standout, though I think it occasionally leans too heavily on familiar shonen tropes. Below, I dive into a comprehensive analysis of the episode's plot, characters, themes, technical execution, and emotional resonance, unpacking its strengths and shortcomings. Episode 4 opens with Sakura absent from school, grappling with his hesitation during the Keel fight, unable to pinpoint why he froze. At Furin High, his classmates, Hayato Suo, Akihiko Nairai, and others, discuss his absence, revealing their concern through supplies they've gathered for him. Kodoha Tachibana visits Sakura's sparse apartment, delivering food and gently prodding him about his struggle to accept friendship. Meanwhile, Rinkaji, a second-year Bofurin leader, confronts Sakura, sharing his own past struggles with isolation, which mirrors Sakura's. With guidance from Kaji, Hajime Yumimiya, and Toma Hiragi, Sakura begins to embrace his bonds, marking a pivotal step in his growth. The episode ends with hints of a new threat looming, setting the stage for future conflicts. I really appreciate how Episode 4 advances the narrative by pausing the action to focus on Sakura's internal conflict, a critical turning point in his arc. The episode resolves the lingering question of why Sakura froze during the Keel fight, revealing it stemmed from his unfamiliarity with caring for others, a revelation that feels earned after 3 episodes of build-up. This introspective focus fulfills the arc's need to ground the high-stakes Keel conflict in personal growth, ensuring the action has emotional weight. The introduction of a mysterious tattooed figure in the post-credits scene, possibly linked to Keel's manipulation, raises new questions about Bofurin's next challenge, keeping the momentum alive. However, I'm not entirely convinced the episode fully maximizes its role within the season. The shift to a slower, dialogue-heavy pace is refreshing, but I think it resolves Sakura's emotional arc too neatly, leaving little room for lingering tension. The pacing is deliberate, prioritizing character moments over action, which I find effective for this episode's goals, but I personally don't understand why the new threat's introduction feels so abrupt. A more gradual tease could have heightened anticipation. Still, I anticipate the setup will lead to a compelling new arc, especially given the series' knack for subverting expectations. Sakura is undeniably the episode's heart, and I love how it peels back his abrasive exterior to reveal a vulnerable core. His struggle to accept help, evident when he dismisses Nairai's supplies with a curt, "I've always been on my own," feels consistent with his loner persona established in Season 1. The revelation that he's lived alone his entire life, coupled with his shock at finding notes from his friends in the supplies, adds depth to his isolation. I think this episode marks significant growth as Sakura begins to trust others, spurred by Kaji's candid advice. Forgive, be forgiven. That's how you stay together. Kaji emerges as a surprising standout, and I really enjoyed his role as a mentor who mirrors Sakura's past. His admission of once struggling with the same isolation humanizes him, making his punch to Yumimiya, followed by a flustered retreat, both humorous and endearing. Yumimiya and Hiragi provide supportive wisdom, reinforcing their leadership roles, though I didn't like how their presence felt slightly overshadowed by Kaji's impact. Suwa and Nairai's concern for Sakura adds warmth, but I'm against their limited screen time, as their dynamics with Sakura could have deepened the emotional stakes. The dialogue remains true to each character's voice, Sakura's gruff defensiveness, Kaji's blunt sincerity, making their growth feel authentic. Episode 4 delves deeply into themes of friendship, vulnerability, and the strength found in reliance on others, which I find profoundly resonant. The episode uses Sakura's journey to convey that true strength lies not in solitude but in trusting others, a message encapsulated in Kaji's line about forgiveness and connection. I appreciate how the narrative contrasts Sakura's self-imposed isolation with Bofurin's communal ethos, particularly through Yumimiya's metaphor of eating together as a bond-building act. This theme feels organic, woven into every interaction, from Tachibana's gentle teasing to the notes in Sakura's supplies. The episode offers subtle world-building through Sakura's barren apartment, which reflects the socio-economic realities of Mikochi's delinquents. I was struck by the detail of his sparse living conditions, no furniture, minimal possessions, hinting at a world where teens like Sakura fend for themselves, possibly due to absent families. The mention of Furin's role as town protectors, reiterated by Yumimiya, reinforces the series' unique setup, where delinquents are community guardians. I really enjoyed the balance of humor and sincerity, though I didn't like the occasional reliance on expository dialogue, like Yumimiya's lengthy explanation of trust, which felt heavy-handed. The writing is strong overall, with a clear focus on character-driven storytelling, but I think tighter editing could have sharpened the pacing. Cloverworks delivers solid animation, though I think it's less dynamic than the Keel arc sprawls. The focus on character interactions means fewer action scenes, but the facial expressions, Sakura's furrowed brow, Kaji's intense glare, are fluid and expressive, capturing their emotional turmoil. The art style remains faithful to Ni's manga, with vibrant character designs and a gritty Mikochi backdrop. A visually striking moment is the close-up of Sakura's hand clutching the supplies, the notes from his friends glowing softly, symbolizing warmth. However, I noticed a slight dip in background detail, particularly in the school scenes, which felt less polished than Season 1. The quality is consistent but not exceptional, aligning with the episode's quieter tone. Episode 4 evoked a profound sense of empathy and hope, with Sakura's struggle hitting me hard as someone who values found family narratives. The most impactful moment was Sakura discovering the notes in his supplies, a quiet scene that moved me to tears with its simplicity and sincerity. Kaji's mentorship and Yumimiya's validation of Sakura's growth added warmth, though I felt a twinge of frustration at the swift resolution, which tempered the emotional depth. The episode leaves a lasting impression, prompting reflection on the courage it takes to accept help. I think it's a testament to Windbreaker's strength that it can make a dialogue-heavy episode feel so gripping. Windbreaker Season 2 Episode 4 is a heartfelt, character-driven gem that prioritizes emotional growth over action, marking a pivotal moment for Sakura. Its strengths lie in its nuanced character work, evocative voice acting, and thematic depth, particularly in exploring friendship and vulnerability.